Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the J Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Nowakowski, joined by Mr. George Martin. Today, George, how are you doing?
Dodgers are on a 3-game winning streak. Season has turned.
Yeah, dude, Kenley another back-to-back 97s today again tonight.
Where were you when Gavin Lux saved the Dodgers season?
I was sitting in my living room watching the Laker game. I turn to the Dodger channel. First pitch I see, it's Gavin Lux's bomb. First pitch I saw.
I'm watching like Randall, AD, and everybody go back and forth at each other, and you text me like, Gavin Lux sent a nuke. And I'm like, wait, the Dodgers are on? I was so invested to the Lakers Knicks game.
That was an epic. That was a great game. Dodgers 3-game win streak. Jansen, his opponent batting average is like 0.8 something. It was 0.89 going into the game, and he went and he set him down 1-2-3.
He's gonna win. Like, is there even a closer award? He's gonna get some. I'm gonna freak out.
There's reliever of the year, which you can give to a closer.
Interesting. I don't know. Probably not. There's been a lot of really good pitchers this year.
Yeah, but I mean, Jansen's problem is walks this year, which is weird because that's never been an issue. But hey, that velo's back. He's dangerous. He's pitching angry, as he likes to say. But today we've got some we've got a lot to cover. We have a little bit of everything in this podcast. First, I mean, before we get into the meat of this stuff, I'm just going to bring up NHL Playoffs start tomorrow, 4:15, Bruins Capitals. I have no Stanley Cup prediction. I am not doing round predictions. After the Ducks went on in like 11-game losing streak, I stopped watching hockey for the most part. So I don't even have an accurate guess, but I'm going to watch the playoffs because NHL playoffs are like no other. But yeah, I mean, I'll keep you guys updated, but that's going to start tomorrow. But the meat of the episode is NFL because I got a lot of fun NFL topics, starting with on Wednesday, Teddy Bridgewater. He joined Patrick Peterson and Bryant McFadden, two former NFL players, on their podcast. It's called All Things Covered. So they had Teddy B on, super humble guy, great episode. I'd recommend listening to the whole thing. It's about an hour long. But he had some shots fired at the Panthers. So here's what Teddy B had to say on the podcast.
And I'll just say this for Joe Brady's growth, I think, man, like that organization, they'll have to like just practice different things, in different ways. Like one of the things we didn't do much of when I was there, we didn't practice 2-minute really. We didn't practice red zone, so.
The most important what?
So he said they didn't practice a lot of red zone and a lot of 2-minute drill. And Patrick Peterson, he immediately goes, what? What do you, and then he goes on to say, Patrick Peterson, that's Thursday practice. Like, that is Thursday practice on almost every NFL team. Is all you do is 2-minute drill and red zone drills. And Teddy said, no, we did about maybe 15 reps a week. So that equates to like half an hour a week.
That's interesting.
And okay, and so a lot of people are like, okay, well, Teddy's just upset. He wanted to stay in Carolina, this and that. And I was like, let me do some digging on the numbers. So here's some digging on the numbers. Panthers scored a touchdown on 50% of possessions in the red zone this past season, which ranked 28th in the NFL. Also, to add to it, the Panthers lost 8 games by 1 possession.
Yeah, I remember watching a lot of their games.
8 games. And okay, so if you're not doing 2, which I looked, in all 8 games, they had the football in the final 2 minutes. I mean, you got to think at some point during the middle of the season, you go, okay, we've lost. They went on a streak of 4 games in a row, losing by 1 possession. At what point do you go like, okay, we need to work on this more? Like, that's an interesting issue to have.
Well, certainly they were set up to fail. And I mean, Teddy was kind of made a scapegoat a little bit. That's why they traded for Sam Darnold. They felt like he wasn't doing enough, even though in that sense, if you're not practicing 2-minute drills, you don't know what you want to go to, you're set up to fail. And only having 15 reps, I mean, that's stuff like rec league teams do. I mean, that's incredible. I've never heard that, but yeah, Joe Brady, he was a rookie head coach, but I don't want to fault. It would be
he's the offensive coordinator.
Or offensive coordinator. I'm sorry. It would be interesting to see what he did in his former gigs. But I know Matt Rule was a rookie head coach, so he probably, wasn't really manning the late game offense. But that's interesting. It was never brought up once until Teddy dropped it. It kind of seems like they just let it, slide under the, fly under the radar, under the bus, stuff like that. Yeah, weird.
So yeah, if Joe Brady was in New Orleans when Teddy was there as well with Sean Payton. So, and that's kind of like what recruited Teddy to Carolina was that connection. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Sean Payton was like, Thursday practice, we're doing this. And I don't know if Joe Brady just kind of didn't like that style. And I mean,
they also had Drew Brees. So it's kind of like, you know what? Here you go. 2-minute drill. You know what to do.
Yeah. I mean, so they're rookie head coaches. I'm sure they if they looked at the numbers, I did 5 minutes of research on this and found like, okay, that's a glare. You win half of those games, you're 8-8 and you're fighting for a wild card spot. If you win half of those 8 games, one possession games. So hopefully they looked at that and that'll be something they address and fix. And I think they're going to need to fix it because 32nd in the NFL in red zone touchdown efficiency was their new quarterback, Sam Darnold, of the New York Jets, scoring a touchdown on 42% of their drives. Minnesota was 6th in the NFL in that category.
Interesting.
And Green Bay was first. They were 76. They always have a great red zone offense. But I just found that so interesting. It took so long for that to come out, and then that's shocking to hear from an NFL coach. Like that's maybe like a high school thing you hiccup. Like, oh, we don't have time for this. And like even college, you can maybe like pass by it. But in the NFL, like you make your bread and butter in the red zone and in the final 2 minutes. I just find that interesting. But moving on, the Jacksonville Jaguars have signed Tim Tebow to a 1-year deal. So the deal is guaranteeing him on the night. Wow, George is already rolling his eyes. Oh, so we already disagree with this, and it's fine. I mean, so he's not guaranteed a spot on the 53-man roster. He's guaranteed the 90-man roster in his deal. So, so George, before I get into my part, I just want to hear your thoughts on this.
I'm not necessarily as mad as bringing Tim Tebow in. I think it's cool. It's kind of like a revenge thing, prove it like you told me. But I'm just worried for Trevor Lawrence's sake. I mean, I saw what I know it was a little bit different what they had down in New Orleans, but Taysom Hill kind of taking, snaps at the goal line, taking stuff away from Alvin Kamara, and it'll be a little bit different. But I mean, if I see Tim Tebow go in there for like a drive, throwing the ball, I'm going to lose it. And, they drafted a running back when they had James Robinson, who was undrafted and damn near should have been a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. And they drafted a running back in the first round. Obviously, it's Trevor's former college teammate, so they did probably make him happy there. But I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical. I hope they primarily use him and only use him at tight end. I guess we'll see what happens if he makes it through, OTAs, makes it through camp and all that. But, it'll be interesting to see nonetheless.
Okay, I guess I'm more okay with the move. I don't think they're going to be that. I mean, I shouldn't say that because they did draft Travis Etienne. They have made some question moves already. So I don't want to say I don't think they're that stupid to put Tebow on at QB for a drive, but I don't know. They're the Jaguars. Maybe Urban Meyer does something like that. I hope he doesn't. So I texted it to you like, I'm okay with him doing like the one play wildcat like Taysom Hill. Like I'm fine with that with Tebow because I mean he's a bigger guy. I'm okay with him doing like the one snap thing, not a whole drive, obviously, but I know some people are like, oh, he's going to cause issues in the locker room because people don't think he deserves the spot. And I see the flip side. He's a former Heisman winner. Trevor Lawrence, a rookie QB. I mean, sure, Tebow wasn't great in the NFL, but he knows how to the NFL defenses, and I think he can be someone that off the field will help Trevor Lawrence out a little bit with that. I mean, so I guess I'm more okay with the move than other people. And some people are like, well, he's taking that spot from an undrafted tight end. I'm like, okay, I whatever. I'm not a big thing on. I don't find that as an issue. I don't know. Do you?
It's just he's never played tight end. He's been out of the league 7-8 years. He was playing baseball. Is he in shape? Can he even catch a ball? Can he run tight end routes? I mean, is he going to be a blocker or a pass catcher primarily? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. And
No, there are. Fair
makes
enough.
it interesting.
No, yeah, there are questions. And so yeah, I get that. I want to bring up a similar signing, which is getting zero backlash whatsoever. So Lamar Jackson.
I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can't hear you now, though.
Oh,
George's mic just cut. Yeah.
Hello? Am I there?
I can't hear you.
Not this again.
One sec. We have technical difficulties here on the J Sports Pod. I guess I'll just give you more thoughts on Tebow while George gets his mic fixed up. Just some more thoughts to go around. So with Tim Tebow, I'm okay with this just because I think he will be a good locker room presence. He'll be fine in the locker room. He's going to provide that stability for Trevor Lawrence just to talk to him, like just to be there and be like, hey, we got your back. Here is how we, here's how I read defenses, how I read them in the NFL.
Hello?
George, you back? No.
What the heck? What's going on?
No, I can't hear you at all. Let me make sure it's not on my settings end. Audio.
What the heck?
Speaker. Yeah, no. Still nothing. I just tested my speakers and they're working. But I think he's going to be a good locker room guy, and he'll be fine with the Jaguars. Again, I don't know how the talent that's going to be there, how well he's going to be at tight end, how many patches he'll catch. Those are all valid questions, and I think we'll see at OTAs, we'll see at training camp how in shape, how good he really is. I think he is in well enough shape. But the one thing I will always give Tim Tebow credit for is he always is working towards his dream and has never really given up on that dream at all, ever. He wanted to play baseball. He went and played baseball. He wanted to play football, and he wanted to come back and play football. Anything, George? No. Can you hear me? Oh, that's so weird. Oh, no. No. We had such a great episode lined up, my man. Oh, no. It's okay. Technical difficulties here on the J Sports Pod. I can't talk about Tebow forever. He's trying to figure it out. It's okay, Giorgio.
I don't know. This is.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's so weird.
Hello.
Nothing. That's so weird.
Hello. What the fuck? Nothing.
It's funny. He had issues before we started this, but it seemed to fix them, and then for some reason it just cut out all of a sudden.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Man, I was excited about these next few segments here. Man, I had some interesting news, stuff going on in the NFL, and some backlash to the NFL on some of the stuff that's been said about certain players and training outside the facilities and the punishments and stuff. That's kind of like we're going to be going over later on. So George leaving the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, sorry about this. If you're listening, skip a little bit. Sorry, you guys. Technical difficulties here on the J Sports Podcast. George, his mic isn't working. He can hear me. I can't hear him at all, which is interesting. But I hope Tebow plays well. In all honesty, I would love for him to play well. And so many people are I just don't understand. Well, he took a spot of an undrafted tight end. Okay, but Tebow's played this. If Tebow can't play, Okay, then you cut him and you bring in the you bring in the other guy, you bring in the undrafted guy and you give him a chance. That's how I feel about it because he's undrafted for a reason. I understand Tebow's been out of the league for quite a while doing other things, but I mean, do you watch that man on College Game Day? The dude is in shape. Like the dude's in shape. So, I'm not that worried about and if he doesn't play well and he gets cut, okay, at least he tried. Again, I give him perseverance points. I will always give Tebow perseverance points, in that regard, for how hard he's tried and never given up. That's one of his things. He never gives up. But so I'm interested to see what happens there. It's an interesting dynamic. I think he's going to be fine for the locker room. I think he's also going to be helping out Trevor Lawrence a lot. But like I said, so one move that has gotten no backlash at all is let's see. Hello.
Anything?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to put headphones in. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'm not putting headphones in. So
no worries.
That's how we're going to roll.
All good, man. All good. I'm just glad to have you on. All right. So here's what I was going to say. So this was a move that happened today and there's really no backlash and I don't know. If people were backlashing Tebow, I don't understand why they're not backlashing this. So Lamar Jackson's former high school teammate was signed to this 90-man roster, the same roster Tebow got signed to. His name is Dante Silenceaux, Silencieux. I'm not even going to, I tried pronouncing it. Anyways, in 3 years of college football, he had 59 catches at Graceland University and NAIA University in Iowa. And he got signed to the same roster as Tebow. So Lamar Jackson's high school teammate caught 10 touchdown passes with Lamar. Got signed to the same thing Tebow got, but everyone's fine with it. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, there's a lot of nepotism in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just with, family members, friends. I mean, I think the Packers, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this is true or not. I might have heard this. I think they brought in Aaron Jones' brother to work out. I think Aaron Jones' brother is a running back. Not a running back. I think he's just an NFL player. So it's interesting, but this happens a lot. Just to please guys. I mean, there's been, LaFleur, because of his brother. I mean, there's been a lot of it, widespread around the NFL. That's just how it is. But I mean, you said he's a receiver.
Yeah.
That kind of is a position of need, although, like you said, the stats don't back it up. So I think that's why I got a little bit less backlash. And, Tebow is a pretty big figure. He was in the NFL once. He was won a playoff game, and this guy, nobody has probably heard of him outside of the people who went to school with him or covered that school. So I feel like that's why it went a lot less under the radar.
Okay. And so I got Aaron Jones. It's his twin brother, Alvin Jones. He was undrafted in 2018, signed to the Ravens. And he spent time on the practice squad and IR with the Ravens, and he's among the Packers' rookie minicamp. And it says players trying out at rookie minicamp don't actually have to be rookies. So he's part of the Packers rookie camp going on right now, and he's a linebacker.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, you're right. I didn't hear about that, but look at George coming in with the research out here.
It's just interesting though because they're trying to make guys like Aaron Jones happy, but a few years ago when Aaron Rodgers said he liked Jake Kummerow, they cut him the next week, They're doing a lot of things to piss him off, which is kind of dumb, and fans are seemingly siding with the organization, which I wouldn't agree with, but I think it's funny, so I let them keep going.
Yeah, we'll get more into Aaron Rodgers in a few minutes here. I have a few more things I want to get to, but yeah, we're going to talk about that. The next thing I want to talk to you, this is an issue that bugs me a lot. So Patrick Peterson covered this on his All Things podcast. This same episode as Teddy Bridgewater. So Juwan James, he was a right tackle for the Denver Broncos and doing a training lesson outside of the facility. He tore his Achilles, out for the season. And then the NFL sent a memo to everyone, but singling out James, saying since it was an off-site injury, the Broncos can forfeit your pay. They don't need to pay for your surgery or rehab. And the Broncos released him. He was set to make $10 million this year. And here's where I have the issue. The Broncos told him to go and train and do it. They told him to do that. So how is it his fault for wanting to work? Like what? Why is that how is that his fault? That's nothing he can control, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a crappy situation. And they can also void some of his signing bonus, which would make it even more costly than just 10 mil. And, I think, hasn't it, a lot of people have been, deferring OTAs and deciding to work out virtually, remotely.
Yep.
Is there something like protected there? Like, do you know the exact reason? Because this seems like this is what he did, but it seems like a horrible reason if you get hurt.
Yeah, he was one of the ones that declined that. I did see that. I don't know the exact situation on that. But yeah, I just don't like the situation where the Broncos specifically told him to do this, and he did what the Broncos told him to do, and he could have been walking down the stairs and done something like that. Like your Achilles is something that can just like go out on you at any given moment, really. So it's not like he was doing something stupid. It wasn't like he was playing in a softball league and he slid into home plate. Like, no, he wasn't doing. He was working. He was putting in work for next season. And then to make matters worse with the Broncos, wide receiver Desean Hamilton tore his ACL off-site. Again, doing something the Broncos asked him to do, but it gets worse. He was expected to be traded, but they wanted to wait till after rookie minicamp was over to make it official.
They're just going to cut him. Like, honestly, that's what they're going to do.
He is. He's going to be released. But it's going to be the same thing. He's not going to get paid, which I don't like that. And, like, if he was doing something dumb, okay, you're doing something stupid. But he's literally working. He's putting in the work. He's working on his game. And now he's not going to get anything, which, I mean, so on one side, Juwan James, he's set to make $10 million. So, I mean, he's obviously going to find a job. He's going to find somewhere to play next year. But this receiver, he was a league minimum guy. Like, some of these players, like, you don't realize, like, just because they're in the NFL, like, they don't make a lot of money sometimes. So, I mean, it's a really crappy situation for the NFL, in my opinion. Do you have any more thoughts on this?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's just upsetting. But, I mean, so I just want to bring this thought up. And so DK Metcalf last week ran in the 100-meter race, trying out for the Olympics. What if he tears his Achilles doing that? Does the NFL still promote the video on Instagram?
They probably cover whatever, only because I'm sure it was good for just good viewership for their company, and they got a bunch of videos and got a lot of views. So I think it would have been different.
Yeah, and that's just how the NFL works. I mean, we all know that's how it's run at this point. We know two things. There's that, and then that the salary cap is a myth. That's what we know. That's what we know. But moving on. So on a past episode with Patrick Peterson on his podcast, I ran through like 4 episodes today. I love that podcast. Like Patrick Peterson, really, he just keeps it 100 with you, but he had Kirk Cousins on. And they asked him what was his most outlandish purchase after signing his big contract with the Vikings. And this is the most Kirk Cousins white boy answer ever. He said, back at Michigan State, one of my teammates had a sick pair of Prada shoes, but they were pretty expensive. And that was his outlandish purchase when he got his contract, was a pair of Prada shoes, which he hasn't worn to a game yet. He said he'll wear them to a game this year, but that was his outlandish purchase.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not surprised it's Kirk Cousins. I mean, that seems like it. So, but I just want to ask you, like, if you got the contract Kirk Cousins did, which was $80 million guaranteed dollars over 4 years, like what would your outlandish purchase be?
This one is definitely outlandish. I am buying a private plane and a private captain to fly me around. I just feel like that would be the easiest way to transport myself anywhere. I could fly, state to state, country to country, probably not country to country with a private plane, but I could get around easily. Just fly around wherever I want.
Okay, so I'm on the same like level-ish as you. My outlandish purchase, I'm pulling a Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'm getting a private island. Like that's my thing. Like obviously with COVID now, like with what happened with COVID, like I'm just hopping on, going to my island with my family and a few friends, and I'm chilling there. That I think that would be my outlandish purchase. That or some nice cars, but Kirk Cousins Prada shoes. That's his outlandish purchase, I guess. But more serious NFL news, I guess, is Aaron Rodgers. So after the initial story of everything breaking, it's been quiet. And from Dan Patrick to Colin Cowherd to everyone saying, oh, it's quiet. That's a good thing for the Packers. Do you think it's actually a good thing that it's quiet?
No news is good news, in my opinion, here. And another thing I find interesting, his biggest trade suitors were the Niners, the Broncos, and the Raiders. Niners took a quarterback at 3. Mm-hmm. They have 2 quarterbacks now. They're not going to trade for him, even though I still think they probably would if a deal was on the table. But realistically, I'm going to say no. Denver just lost their starting right tackle and one of their core receivers. Denver's O-line was kind of bad as it was. So, Rodgers had an elite one last season. I don't see him going there. And Oakland, it's just, I don't know, the questionable drafting. They lost 3 of their top 5 linemen. Receiving core is interesting. Their defense hasn't. It was okay last year. It's nothing. I mean, the Packers had a top 10 last year for as much as we harped on it. But yeah, I think no news is good news. I think he's gonna hold out actually for a few weeks, but I do think he ends up staying there for at least another season or 2. I don't think there's going to be a long-term extension done. I think he's pretty much gone within a few short years here.
Okay, I'm still in the boat that he is so petty that I don't think he plays. I just how Aaron Rodgers is, and like I think if he gets offered the Jeopardy job, I think he'll like legit just take it and be fine with that. So I hear that no news is good news. On the other side, after all that news broke, the Kentucky Derby was on Sunday, and Aaron Rodgers was there and did an interview with Mike Tirico. But he didn't deny anything that was said. He didn't deny the Jerry Krause stuff. He didn't deny any of it. And the one thing that I have heard here, no one from the Packers has denied it. No one from Rodgers has denied anything. Like, no one said, oh, no, he never called him Jerry Krause. Like, no one has said that. Like, all of the shit that's coming out is true.
I will admit, I never did hear anyone, kind of covering up and saying it was false. The only guy was really the GM Gutekunst and then LaFleur. Mm-hmm. But even then, it was just kind of like, no, Aaron's our guy. La, la, la. So, I mean, it kind of seemed like they were like, he has voices displeasure, but, we're going to hold on to him. He's going to be here. But it seems like everything he said did hold some merit of truth.
Yep, and then they signed a quarterback, Blake Bortles, who was, I mean, he's like the best available quarterback left. I know, yeah. Me and George's Viking fans are loving this right now. We are eating this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh my god, I don't even know why I don't even know what. Like, there's some outside chance he's gone. I don't know what they did it for. There's no reason to have him as a third string. No.
He's not going to be – that's the funny part. It's Jordan Love is going to be the third string. He's going to be the backup. That's how – No. I have read Jordan Love hasn't – they're saying, oh, he's a year away from being a year away. Now they're like, maybe his 4th year is his year. Like –
oh, great. When Aaron Rodgers' contract is up, they think or his rookie contract, I mean, sorry.
Kellen Mond will play an NFL game before Jordan Love.
And we traded back to get him.
I'm not joking. I think I think Kellen Mond, the 3rd round pick from the Vikings this past year, will play an NFL game, not preseason, an NFL game before Jordan Love does.
And guess what? I'm pretty sure that Kellen Mond pick we used was from us trading back to get Darrisaw as well.
Yep, it was. It was the
But
pick.
not only did we trade back to get the guy who we probably would have taken originally at 14.
Yep.
We get 2 more picks, one for a quarterback of the future who might get in a game before the guy the Packers traded up for and thought was Aaron freaking Rodgers' successor. I mean, I will eat that like it's dinner. So
oh yeah, that's all my meals right there is eating that up. Yeah, and so the NFL schedule got released. I know you and me were kind of talking about that. I got my tickets already. I'm going to Arizona week 2, Pat Pete revenge game, baby.
Ooh, interesting. Yes, sir.
And then week 10, the Chargers were in LA. Seeing SoFi. I'm hyped for that one too. So yeah, I'm Vikings West Coast tour. I'm all about that. I'm all about that. But yeah, can the NFL season start in 2 weeks? Like, I'm so excited right now. Like, I don't know where you are with everything, but I'm hyped about it.
It's about to be that type of stretch where it feels like with the NBA draft, like right after the free agency, right after the draft, you have those dog days of about 1 to 2 months, and it's going to be even longer than that. It's going to be about what, three months? So
training camp is in 9 weeks.
And even then, I don't feel like training. I don't feel like it holds the same thing with.
It's gonna be Tim Tebow. Is Aaron Rodgers there? Like, that's what it's gonna be.
Oh, they've been absolutely milking the Aaron Rodgers thing, which I love, but sometimes you just want to get it resolved and move on. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I feel that as well. Like, I would love to know if Aaron Rodgers, as a Vikings fan, I would love to know if tomorrow if Rodgers is playing or not. Like, I need to know that. I don't want to be going into week 1 going, is he playing? Is he not? Like, I want to know before the season starts. But I mean, that's really all going in the NFL. Like, it's going to be quiet for a while now. Like, we probably won't talk a lot of NFL unless DK Metcalf makes the Olympic team, like, or Aaron Rodgers news. Like, it probably won't be a lot of NFL, but NBA, that's going to be hot and spicy because play-in tournament next week, playoffs coming up. But before we get into that, I think Georgia's probably second favorite NBA player behind Yanni is Russell Westbrook. He broke the triple-double record this past week, 182. So, I mean, just, before we get into what I want to talk about, like, thoughts on Westbrook, man.
Oh, I've absolutely loved watching, especially this season. I mean, I think I saw a stat. They were 17 and 30 at one point, and now they're like 33 and 38. I mean, in this stretch where he's been healthy, he's been fucking insane, to say the least. I mean, just and it impacts winning. I've seen on Twitter where people are like, "Oh, it doesn't do this and that." If he wasn't doing this, they would be, tanking for Cade Cunningham right now, or probably not him because they have a point guard, Evan Mobley, because they would need a center. But I mean, just the motor he has, and he's been doing this ever since Kevin Durant left in 2016, 5 straight years. And yeah, he hasn't had the playoff success, and he hasn't had this and that. And I know everybody likes to talk about rings, this, postseason achievements, that. But I mean, just looking at basketball itself and where he's come from, I mean, it's been wonderful to watch. From UCLA, he grew up in South Central LA, coming out, all that, and he said, "I'm a champion. I don't need a ring, to tell me that. I've done everything I can. I've played the game the way I want to play." He has this whole slogan, "Why not?" I mean, it's been incredible.
Yeah, and I have had huge Russ slander. But I need to give him credit on, like, this is an incredible achievement. And so I give him credit. He's been playing great this year. Like, I can't even really say bad stuff about him. Like, I mean, if he throws up a brick in the playoffs, I'm sure me and Josh Rhodes will be going crazy in the group chat about it. But that's how it be sometimes. But the meat this is what I'm excited. Okay, first of all, before we get into point guard talk, I asked you a question on Twitter that you didn't answer, so I'm going to ask it to you right here and now.
Okay.
So after Giannis's 40-point game, you said generational talent, which I know you said about West. You said it about Westbrook too on Instagram or Twitter or both, whatever, one of them. Who has been more of a generational talent, Giannis or Westbrook?
Oh, I think I saw this.
And you just didn't answer.
I think my bias might show here, but I'm gonna have to go with Giannis only because he's a damn near 7-footer.
Yeah.
His post moves are Hakeem-like. Obviously, they're not as dominant, but his post moves this season have improved a lot. He can hit elbow jumpers. He can dribble the ball and take 2 steps post half court and dunk. He can hit threes now, at least a little bit better, not as consistent. I just think he's a complete freak of nature. I mean, in that Bucks Nets game, he blocked Kevin Durant. Nobody does it, especially like that. That's a freak. He's a freak athlete. Russell Westbrook, I called him one of one. There's someone got in a debate with me that you can't really say that because Oscar Robertson, did the same, and Russell Westbrook kind of played the same. But I just think with Russ, I say generational talent with him. I mean, I think they're both generational talents, but I would say Yanni is more.
Yeah.
Because
there's no wrong answer here.
Yeah, I would go with Yanni, and that's might be a little bit biased here.
No, I would probably go that way too. And you didn't even mention the defense of Yanni. Like you just mentioned his offensive talent. Like the dude's a freak of nature on defense as well. Like you mentioned the block on KD, but dude's a great defender as well. If Bud would just take Brooke off the court, I know you've been avid about that. Yeah.
Yanni's 5 minutes. Yanni's 5 minutes, please.
It's a thing, right? We're gonna have a playoff preview episode and everything. And 2.5 hoopers, they're gonna be your spot for a playoff basketball. They're gonna be breaking it all down. Yeah, they're gonna be breaking it all down for you. So for your playoff preview, go watch theirs when it comes out. And I mean, with the Westbrook, I understand you're one of one. I understand the point of, okay, Oscar was first. Westbrook's more explosive than Oscar was. Like, that is the dude goes 110% every play. Like,
yeah, he's such a high motor.
It's insane. Like, I don't think we'll see a motor like that. That's why I can agree, okay, one of one, because no one has that motor. Like, LeBron will take plays off. KD takes plays off. Every other NBA player takes plays off. Westbrook doesn't. Like, sometimes it's sloppy, but at least he's going 110 miles per hour. Yeah. But here we go. Now this is where we're getting good. Okay. So some people have Westbrook as like second best, greatest point guard of all time. I'm gonna list some point guards. Tell me who, better career, Westbrook or this player. Okay. All right. So first one, this one should be easy. Don't get me pissed off, George. Magic Johnson or Westbrook?
Obviously not. Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard, and it's not even close.
Thank God. All right, George. Okay. After the others, that's the only one that's okay. Like the other one's I can hear your point. I'm okay with it. Isaiah Thomas or Russell Westbrook?
I am taking Isaiah Thomas.
I am as well. Okay.
2-time champ. Beat one of the Lakers. I believe he has 2 finals MVPs. If not, I know he has at least one, but yeah. He's my third best point guard, if you wanted to know, of all time.
All right. John Stockton.
I do have Stockton, all-time assist guy, steals, I believe, as well. I mean, longevity of a point guard is there for sure. Him and Malone were playing very, very deep into their careers. Unfortunately, they kept running into Michael Jordan, so they couldn't get one. But I mean, if he had a ring, Stockton's probably the second best ever if he had a ring.
Yeah, probably. If he got one ring, you probably put him over Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. Okay, so far we agree on everything. I have those over him. All right, Oscar Robertson.
It's difficult, man, because for so long it was Oscar has all the records. Oscar has this same exact play style. He's going to wipe the record away from Oscar. He's going to crush it. Only thing is a championship. But look who Oscar got it with, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm gonna put Russ ahead of him, but I wouldn't be opposed to you saying Russ or Oscar ahead.
I agree with you. No, I agree putting Russ over him because he broke his record. He's gonna be better than him statistically in almost everything when it's all said and done.
Because if I wipe away if we put some context on it, you can go ring or more playoffs or that. I mean, you've played with the greatest center ever, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can't take that, you can't take that into consideration. But I do have Russ ahead of him. It could be a close conversation. Maybe you have him 2 spots behind, but yeah, I'm taking Russ.
All right. This next one's interesting. I think it's closer than maybe some people think. Steve Nash.
It is close. I'm ultimately gonna have to choose Nash because of the 2 MVPs. And
yes, okay.
If I look, especially, I know I like to say like, oh, that was Kobe's MVP, and Josh Rhodes and I always have an argument with this. But if you look at when he got to Phoenix, especially when like without Amari for one of those years, I mean, he flipped them right around. They went from like 26 to 50 wins. I mean, that type of impact, it's invaluable. And I know Russ could be the same type of guy, but that would be like if Russ came into Washington and got him from not a playoff team to like 4th, then we could have a discussion. But Steve Nash, no. And Russ does have a few good years left, but I think Steve Nash is pretty sure like a top 5, 6 point guard ever.
Okay, so I'm with you, Nash, because of those MVPs. All right, so now we have a few ones that are, I mean, interesting. So Chauncey Billups.
I know Billups is the Finals MVP, but
okay,
the thing with the 04 Pistons, I mean, their defense was rock solid. Their coaching scheme was great. I just feel like Russ's peak was better. I mean, Russ had besides like, you know, he was in the conversation with another guy who you haven't listed yet, which I'm kind of confused, but as the top point guard in the league at one point.
Okay, so I'm doing past players only. I didn't want to do any current. I thought about Steph. I thought about throwing him in there, but like his career, I don't want to do 2 players whose careers aren't over.
That's why Steph is my second greatest point guard ever, just so you know.
Okay. I would put Steph over Westbrook as well. I just didn't want to throw in current players. So, okay, AI.
Here's where it gets interesting. I have AI as a shooting guard, actually.
So yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Okay.
I think Lehman and I were talking about this a few days ago when we were on Xbox talking about Russ. I'm like, I consider AI a 2. And I know you probably could be like, he ran the offense. He was primarily like the point, but I don't know. I like him better at the 2 spot. And for the 2 spot, I have him at 4th best, I think. Okay. Yeah, I don't have Harden over him yet.
No worries. And then also why I haven't mentioned Chris Paul. He's still playing. That's what I would have thrown him in there as well. Once he's retired, like we can have that talk.
Give me what you think right now with Chris Paul. Who's better?
All time. It's so hard because they both have the same non-playoff success issues. Westbrook has the triple doubles, but I feel like Paul sometimes will he had that shot in the Clippers series. He seems to hit
against the Spurs. Yeah, against the Spurs.
He seems to be and I think he's a better 3-point shooter. He's not much better, but he's better. I mean, it's a toss-up. I think I might have to go Russ, but it's close.
I have CP.
Okay, you do. Okay.
2 points. Yeah, no, this is a little bit of a trick question, devil's advocate, but Chris Paul is one of the best floor raisers in the NBA, probably, alongside like LeBron and Russ himself. I just look at what he's done in Phoenix. Heck, you have him as an MVP candidate. I don't know how high he is now, but
I still have him in my top 5.
Even with look at the Thunder last season. Russ leaves. Everyone's like, "Oh, this team." I casted him away too. I said, "No chance of making the playoffs." They had 0.2% of a percent to make the playoffs. They were a 5th seed. They were one Lugens Dort not getting blocked by Harden shot from making the second round to play the Lakers. They would have been swept. Let's not get it twisted there. But I mean, he doesn't have the playoff success. I don't necessarily like to solely judge someone off that. Russ doesn't have it either, like you said. Russ got to the finals once.
Yep.
Because he also had Kevin Durant and James Harden on his team. But when I look at, their peaks and just like their careers over the years, I do think it's pretty close. But
I think it's a toss-up, really.
Yeah. I do have to go Chris Paul just because just like he's shown his value the past 2 seasons. What he does is basically invaluable. Not many players would go into that situation with Thunder. I thought he was going to get bought out. I thought he was going to sit out. And he took him to the playoffs.
Fair enough. And I mean, if Chris Paul plays that Game 7 against Golden State, I think the Rockets are in the finals. I really do if Chris Paul wasn't hurt. Okay, so 2 more here for you. Okay, so I've seen him as a point guard and I've seen him as a shooting guard. If you have him as a shooting guard and we don't have to debate it, Jerry West. Because I've seen him on shooting guard lists and point guard lists.
I've only seen shooting guard.
Okay, the website I'm on right now has him as a point guard and has him 6th best overall.
That one's, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. He's a shooting guard. We're going to call the AI card. Okay, this one's definitely a point guard. Jason Kidd.
I have J. Kidd ahead.
You do? Okay.
He's had, you look at his impact. I mean, he took Nets to the finals twice, I believe. Obviously ran into the Lakers. And I think the Spurs one time as well. So, I mean, that's kind of, you run into 2 dynasties. You run into 2 Hall of Famers who are getting inducted tomorrow. Look at that.
Yeah.
So I think he got it. I think he got a pretty big amount of triple doubles. Obviously, nowhere near Russ, but his impact was. I mean, he was basically like the first point guard. Actually, no, that's not true. But yeah, I would go J. Kidd.
Okay, fair enough. This list is really weird by the Ringer. The Ringer is where I was getting some of the few other players because I only had a couple, but then I wanted to throw in some others. They have Gilbert Arenas as a point guard as well. And I don't. He's not. Yeah. No. Okay. All right. I'm with you on that. Maybe he's
like an off-court character. Yeah. I mean, Gilbert Arenas pulling up to NBA practices with Glocks. It's kind of funny.
They have, and then there's another link that I just followed. It was 5 point guards who would dominate in today's game. Guess who number 1 is? I don't think you're ever gonna guess.
Is it like Bob Cousy?
No, it's Muhammad Abdul Rauf.
Oh, Lehman loves that guy.
I do too, but don't say he would dominate today's game.
He's like barely 6 feet.
Thank you. And he wasn't much of a. I mean, he was an okay shooter, but he wasn't.
Those Nuggets. I mean, the Nuggets teams he were on were fun, but like,
yeah.
No.
Okay, so that was a great. I like that segment. I mean, there wasn't a lot of Russ bias there, which I mean, it's okay if it comes out. We're okay if you show bias here. I mean, we agreed for the most part. I mean, I think other than Chris Paul, really, I think we agreed on almost everything. But so. Like you said, this weekend, we have a wait, hang on. I'll throw one more point guard at you. Tony Parker.
No, Tony Parker was an incredible compliment to Tim Duncan. And I think he does have one Finals MVP, if I'm not mistaken.
He has one, yeah.
He does have one. And with these lists, I look more into like their peaks. And just how they were playing. I know Tony Parker, I think it was in 2006, 2007. He went from like an 18-point per game scorer to the playoffs like 28. So, I mean, he might have a point. But I look, ever since KD missed that season with that foot injury and Russ went crazy, and then still doing that, up until now, that's pretty valuable to me. I think I think all said and done, Russ probably top 8, top 7.
Okay. That Ringer list had him at 7 back in 2019.
Yeah, and no one would be chasing up on him. So it looks like they agree with me. I'm glad they get paid to do that. I don't.
Yeah, very true. But so this weekend, Kobe, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's gonna be a fun weekend to see Timmy D and KG get in, but gonna be somber. With MJ giving Kobe's speech. I'm sure you saw Vanessa help put up his Hall of Fame stuff. It looks amazing. Like, I got to get out to the NBA Hall of Fame real soon now. I don't know if you saw. Did you see the picture of Natalia wearing his Hall of Fame jacket?
Yeah, I did.
So but I'm sure when it comes to Kobe's part, it's going to be very sad and with MJ. But I'm, happy for Tim Duncan and KG getting into. And did you hear what KG said today?
I did not. So fill me in.
He was asked, what's one regret in your career? And he said that I didn't ask to get traded sooner to Boston.
Okay, no, that is. I did see that quote. I thought it was something different. And he's not wring. Like him, Minnesota was horrible place for him. And that's why I want Karl Anthony Towns to get out of Minnesota currently. I mean,
yep.
I don't blame him. He was trying to get to the Lakers, I believe. I know Kobe wanted him. I think the trade was close.
Holy crap, Kobe and KG.
Oh, they would have three-peated. No less than three-peat. I mean,
domination. I love Al, but that's domination.
They would have brought it every single night. I mean, they would have brought the complete best out of each other. Nobody would have wanted to play them in the playoffs. I mean,
those are two fierce-ass competitors.
A lineup of like Kobe, Meta, KG, Fisher, and then like Trevor.
Oh man,
that is like the fearsome five, man. Nobody's scoring on that lineup.
One sec, gotta go into my GM and go back to that Lakers team and trade for KG real quick. But yeah, so I found that statement only funny because like 6 months ago he wanted to buy the Timberwolves, or he had interest to him and his group wanted to buy them. It ended up being A-Rod. He ended up purchasing them, which Anthony Edwards has no idea who he is, which I found hilarious. But yeah, it's gonna be a cool weekend. Timmy D, I don't think Tim Duncan gets enough love. Like so many people are like I've heard it from many people like he's just fundamental. Like okay, and what's so bad about being a fundamental basket? Like just because he doesn't dribble through his legs and shoot the three ball, he's considered bad. Like dude, that dude dominated the game. I mean, yeah, I think I hope this is a Timmy D love weekend because he deserves it.
No, I mean, if anything, I prefer the fundamentals of like the up and under and like the post moves. And that just shows you're more advanced, you're more talented than the field. I mean, if you go out there, back a dude down, do like some spin. I mean, the dream shake is like absolutely nasty. Like that post, that's probably one of the best post moves ever, unless you count Shaq dunking on everyone. But yeah, I love like getting a guy up in the air after you spin on them, drop step. I mean, that's those moves will never go away. So
yeah. So okay, I'll put one move over the dream shake. That's Kareem's skyhook. That thing was untouchable. Of course. That was untouchable.
Nobody blocked it ever.
And that was me as a kid when I first started playing basketball. So I wasn't the sky hook that my dad taught me. He said he taught me the baby hook, just the little hook shot. He said that shot it literally can't get blocked without you being fouled. Like it's just, and you see it, NBA players, some of them use it and it almost 99% of the time goes in or they're fouled. But yeah, I like Timmy D, Mr. Fundamental. But watch that this weekend. The Hall of Fame ceremonies going on for all three of them. Did you see the Kobe shoes launching in the summer 2021? The Kobe GG ones?
Are those the gold ones?
No. Oh, no. Okay. All right. I got to show you a picture of them right now then. I'm surprised you haven't seen these because these are freaking beautiful. Of course, they're going to be sold out in seconds by bots. But so hopefully Nike will actually make enough, but knowing Nike, they won't. No, it's not the gold ones. Here they are. They're the Kobe 6 Pronto Mamba Forever. Let's see. Oh, no. Come on.
Send them to me on Instagram, and I'll look at them on my phone.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I think they're sick-ass shoes.
Live reaction, people. Ooh. Oh, yes.
And the Kobe and GG. Oh, those are beautiful shoes. But I'm also excited for Kobe to get away from Nike and see what happens with his company. There they are. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So they're going to the Hall of Fame this weekend. And so yeah, and they're the shoes. But Sunday morning at 4 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. where you are, George, J.Cole is gonna be on TV in the Basketball African League. I want to say it right. Hang on. I don't
or something.
The Basketball Africa League, the BAL. He's going to be on the Patriots BBC. That's their name. Sunday 7 Eastern, so 7 a.m. Eastern. Because J.Cole, he got signed for 3 to 6 games, and it's like an 8-man roster, so he's probably going to see the court. I'm not going to get up at 4 a.m. I'm going to record it.
It's like the throwback to the KBO days. You actually got up for those, I think, right?
I did. I watched the first week and a half, 2 weeks of the KBO. The first game had a rain delay for that, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, but it was COVID, so I had nothing going on. So I watched all 9 innings too. It was like 5 a.m. and the game ended. I was like, that felt good. But I'm not getting up to watch this. I'll record it and watch it after.
It's gonna be all over Twitter. No need for me to do that.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, I think it's a cool thing what the NBA is doing, reaching out to the other continents and getting leagues going, and just seeing international talent, because it's blossomed over the last few years. Seeing the international talent come out,
if you look at the MVP race, your top 2, maybe even 3, depending on who you have at 3.
Yeah,
it's all overseas, European, other continents.
Yep.
Nikola Jokic at 1. Probably Embiid 2 now, and then Giannis at 3. You could have Dame, CP3, whatever. It's the game has grown, and that's great. More global content. It's good.
Yeah, definitely. So anyways, that's going on. We'll see what J.Cole can do in this league. Like, I don't know what the competition is going to be like, but I'm just excited to see his game on the court. Maybe that's what took so long for his album to come out. He was working on his game. Have you listened to the album, George?
Of course. I listened to it last night when I was
awesome.
getting ready for my podcast. My favorite song, a little bit of bias, the one with Lil Baby on it.
Yep. It's mine too. Pride is the devil.
He just came out of nowhere. J. Cole was going, and the song was about like a minute left. I'm like, oh, okay, there's no feature, because I saw on Twitter someone was talking about like Lil Baby. I'm like, I haven't heard it yet, and I'm 8 songs in or whatever. And it just like synced J. Cole into Lil Baby. I'm like, wait a second, I had to like go back because I'm like, wait, that's different. And I'm like, oh my god, that's great.
Yeah, we Lil Baby fans here. Yeah, that was my favorite song on the album so far. I've listened to it. I like it. It's good.
I think it's solid. Not one of his best, but I don't think it's worse. I think KOD is one of the worst. But yeah.
No, and I like it. It's good. And for me, it always takes me a little bit to grow on albums. Like, I'm sure in 2 weeks I'll find another song that I'm like, damn, this is real good. But yeah, it's a solid album, and we'll see how solid he is on the court Sunday morning. But moving to the MLB, really not, Dodgers 3-game win streak. But, Corbin Burnes, he broke the MLB record, which was, well, I'll let George, you take this part away because you have some numbers for me.
So, yeah, the record streak was 58 strikeouts before his first walk. And he did this even with a 2-week layoff. I believe got COVID or just was on the IL. Whatever it was. Yeah, COVID. So let's see here. The former mark to open a season belonged to none other than our favorite closer, Kenley Jansen, 2017. Struck out 51 batters before he walked his first. Then Adam Wainwright at 35. For starting pitcher, he held the record before Burnes broke it, April 20th, 2020. And let's see here. I'm reading the rest of this article. Record for consecutive strikeouts without a walk did belong to Garrett Cole. He set it Wednesday night against the Rays.
Okay.
He has 56 without a walk, but I guess they are going to count it if he gets ahead of Burnes. They're saying Cole is riding his 56 strikeouts without a walk. He'll get a chance to jump back in front of Burnes in his next turn through New York's rotation. Interesting.
All right. What? Okay.
So do they count it then?
I thought the record was to start a season, and he walked guys to start the year. He has 3 on the year. Burnes has 1.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to have another segment if Garrett Cole breaks it because I take it as to start the season. But whatevs. Yeah, great mark for Burnes. And yeah, 2 weeks on the COVID list, and he still struck out 9 guys before giving up a walk.
I do feel bad. He lost his most recent game 2-0. No run support, 2-0.
Pitched a gem. I think one of them was earned, or maybe both. I don't remember, but yeah, he pitched a gem, and yeah, the Trevor Bauer effect. That's happened to Bauer a few times where it's been no run support for him too. But I was on your podcast on Wednesday, you, Lehman, and Rhodes, and you guys talking about Russell Westbrook, and then it was the most unbreakable NBA records, which was super fun. And so with Burnes breaking this, and I guess Cole breaking it in 4 days, whatever. What is the most unbreakable MLB records? Like, list as many as you want. I'll let you go first because I have like a ton.
I have a few. So the first one that popped up to my head instantly was Cal Ripken's record of games played.
Iron Man. Yep. Okay.
Iron Man.
You learned from my AC Green and you went straight for that one. Okay. I like it.
He's at 26-32, which was 500 ahead of what Lou Gehrig had set way back when he did. So 21-30. And, we're not saying that it's not possible, but just in this age and era of load management, getting your bodies right, not overdoing it, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
People, they have like, normal just days off. Like, it's really, I don't think anyone's going to touch that. And I know no one thought that about Lou Gehrig's, but I sincerely don't think this is going to happen. My next one is Ricky Henderson's stolen base record, 1,400.
Yeah. Okay.
And that one, I think I'm going to say not, because it's not that players aren't stealing as much. I just think like putting your body on the line and more situational steals. I mean, he was just going at any chance he got, but he was just consistently great at it. And then here's some more stats. Most seasons with 70 steals or more, 7 of those. 100 steals or more, 3 of them, and then 16 seasons of 40 or more. I mean, he's just, players don't play as long like that anymore. And when they do get deeper into their primes, like they don't overdo their body as much. And I just feel like the emphasis on player safety now has kind of taken away a chance at these records. So that's why I think those two are going to be the most unbreakable.
So, yeah, that you could steal 25 bases for 25 years and you wouldn't touch that record. You'd be at 625 if you did that.
Jeez, that's not even halfway.
Yeah. So yeah, that one. I agree with you on that, definitely. So did you ever hear the story about Cal Ripken and the night that he broke he was set to break the record? Like, kind of what happened? Like I
think so, but I'm gonna have you fill me in on it.
So the conspiracy theory is that Cal caught his wife having an affair with some actor, and the Orioles got wind that there was some physical altercation of some sorts, and so they shut off the power to the stadium to give Cal time to get there because he was late, I guess, to the game.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and that's just a theory. No one's ever really said anything about it, but I eat up conspiracy theories. Like, I love those. And that one, I was like, whoa, I never heard about that. So, and he brought up Cal Ripken, so I thought I'd just mention that one. But here's some of my unbreakable records. Nolan Ryan, 5,714 strikeouts. The next closest was Randy Johnson. He was 839 off. That's like 4 seasons.
Jeez.
That's 4 seasons of over 200 strikeouts. The next one, Pete Rose, 4,256 hits.
Yeah.
I mean, that Ty Cobb's the only other 4,000 hit batter. And just the way the MLB works, I don't see anyone doing that anytime soon. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. That's for another episode, whatever.
He got on it, he can't.
Yeah, anytime I get a chance, I'll mention that. But this one, Ty Cobb, 367 career batting average.
Wow.
Not season, career.
What's Mike Trout batting? Let's take a look.
For his career, I'm going to guess 295.
Not even in threes, huh?
I don't think he is.
Oh, I thought it said 342, but that's this season.
What's his career?
I'm going to look here.
Okay.
While you keep going.
Oh, okay. So Ty Cobb, 367 career batting average.
305.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's 10 points off. Okay. All right.
I mean, you would have to bat like 600 for the next 5 seasons.
Right. Cy Young, 511 career wins.
Wins, of course.
The next closest, Walter Johnson at 417. So that got crushed by a lot. I think this one's breakable. I don't know what you thought. Joe DiMaggio's 56 game hit streak. Do you think
I think it can
okay.
be broken, yeah.
I think it can too. This one no one's touching. Old Ross Radbourne, 59 wins in a single season. That's when like they pitched every 2 days or pitched back-to-backs and shit.
It's honestly crazy to see how, like, you know, in the older days, some of these guys, like how long they played and how hard they played, and now with so many advancements in modern medicine that injuries are more frequent. But I do also want to say games do evolve a lot more. Like guys in 1965 weren't putting as much, you know, strenuous activity on their bodies as they do now. Like just look at basketball. Nobody was playing like how Russell Westbrook played in 1960. Look at like Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy, Jerry West. Like nobody is, you know, getting rebounds, running up the floor, jump, cut, all this. And, you know, I'm going to get a little doctor here. I know Lehman loves when I do this, but, you know, with certain ligaments and stuff like that, like some stuff you can't strengthen. Like your ACLs, you can strengthen the muscle and tendons around it, but like the ligament itself, it doesn't, like you can't make it bigger. It's, you know, however big it is. Because that's why, you know, when you get like an Achilles replacement or an ACL replacement, it's the same thing. Because if it was bigger or smaller, you'd have complications. But that's why like strength training is so important, to get stuff around the ligament to be strong. But it makes sense why there's more recurring injuries and why players are also rested as much as they are.
Okay. Another one. So Hack Wilson, 191 RBIs in a season. I feel like that's a ridiculous amount to get.
I don't understand some of these records, man.
Yeah, some of them are insane. I will say someone will pass Barry Bonds' all-time home runs record.
Really?
I think so.
Are they going to do PEDs or
okay. If I'm going to be real, it's Hank Aaron's record in my opinion still, even though steroids save baseball. I'm not wearing the sweater. I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing a hockey jersey instead. But yeah, they did save baseball if we're going to be real here. But I think someone will come along and break it. The way someone's going to figure out like launch angles and with robot umpire, I don't know. Someone's going to break that record. I don't know. I feel like it's going to happen. This one, okay. John Vandermeer, back-to-back no-hitters. Now, Max Scherzer came close. He threw a no-hitter followed by a one-hitter.
Wow. One-hitter. Jeez.
So, I mean, not to brag and all, but I threw a one-hitter and then a perfect game against you in MLB The Show.
Come on, man.
I came close to this record. That's all I'm going to say.
The podcast doesn't need to know that you beat up on a dude who had been playing MLB The Show for like a week, man.
Oh.
All right. Okay. So let the pod know. The last game Josh and I played, I won 4-1.
I was just going to say, it's okay. George got revenge. He beat me last time we played. He was on his
way to a shutout, and then I left the curveball hanging, and he had to hit it to dead center.
Yeah, I couldn't get shut out. I would never get. I mean, that's embarrassing if I get.
Okay, come on. I've been shut out like twice by you. And perfect game though.
So do you think anyone will ever throw back-to-back no-nos?
With the way it's progressing right now, I don't know. We've already had like what? We're halfway to the record, and we've played 30 games so far. So I think it could. I definitely wouldn't put money on it never being broken. Like there's one I would put money on, this one I wouldn't. I think it could eventually.
Okay.
Maybe like if Rom would do it. I think he could.
Okay. So I just want to bring this one out. Nolan Ryan. So how many no-hitters did he threw hang on. Wow. This is okay. Nolan Ryan threw 7 no-hitters in his major league career. Oh, so 7 no-hitters, 12 one-hitters, in 18 two-hitters.
Jeez, man.
I know he won't go down as the greatest pitcher of all time, even though he is like the leader in strikeouts, but that's dominant. I know my dad said he went to a game. Nolan Ryan was pitching. He gave up a hit in the first batter of the game, leadoff base hit. Then he sat down 27 in a row after that. Completed the game after he gave up a leadoff hit. Like, that dude was dominant. I don't know. I don't know how many one-hitter Scherzer's has and stuff like that, but that just seems like an insane amount of number to have, along with 7 no-nos. But I mean, any other records that you got, George?
No, I was just looking at the home run record. Pujols is about 100 away, but I think he's done. I think he's going to retire. Yeah.
Apparently, there are 3 to 4 teams that are interested in him.
I did want to see him try to get to 700. I don't think he would at all, but oh well.
No. What? So how Bond's at what? 780 something.
762. Hank Aaron, 755.
762. Okay. And so obviously Pujols is the closest current day player.
Yeah. It's Bonds, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, A-Rod, Pujols, Willie Mays.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we'll see. It'll be interesting at the tail end of some of these power hitter careers. Like, I mean, Trout, he's had a couple 40s. Judge is too unhealthy. He gets so unhealthy. Stanton had one like 60 bomb year, but then
Stanton is currently tied for 119.
He's too injured. That's Stanton's problem. He's too injured. If he wasn't injured, I'm sure he'd probably get close to it.
Mike Trout is tied for 136.
But he's got like 10 plus years left.
I would say 10. He's 29.
Yeah, so 10 years left. One guy watch out for. Also, I said he would win NL MVP. Ronald Acuna. He's leading the majors with 12 bombs this year.
He's got to stay healthy, man. He got hurt again, but his X-rays were negative. So
yeah, he rolled his. I was listening to the game. He rolled his ankle. It was an awkward play.
He's had 2 fluke injuries in the past week.
Yeah. That one was really weird, and it could have been really bad. It was like, he tried to stretch with his left leg and he missed the bag. Like, he thought he could get there and he missed it. And so then he tried to stretch with his right and his ankle just did a really weird thing. Yeah, he does need to stay healthy. I agree with that, but that's a young and upcoming star. And my NL MVP favorite at the moment, I picked him at the beginning of the year, but I think that's all we got for the pod today. George, we say it all the time, but where are my people going to find you and your pod?
Of course. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at THHoopers, all lowercase. Find us there on Spotify and YouTube as well. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Interact with us. We don't bite. We're friendly. We'll get you a shout out on the podcast. And send us questions too. We want to do some fan interaction, some fan topics now that we've changed our format a little bit. We have more room to do some topics, storylines you'll want us to cover. Playoffs are coming up. It's going to be all about the playoffs. We're going to have, the 2-3 best games, talk about storylines that come from it, break down all the games and all that good stuff. We're not going to be like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. and just start, ranting about unnecessary stuff.
All right, sounds good. And you can find me on Instagram, J_sports_podcast. I'm on Twitter at Josh Nowakowski. And drop a comment if you're watching on YouTube, one of my 4 or 5 people that watch on YouTube, or send me a DM, comment down below. Yeah, same thing. Get interactions. Let's get talking. I'll have a NBA playoff episode coming out soon. I do have a few guests lined up for later on in May. That'll be coming on, and that's going to be good. But until next time, this has been Joshua Nowakowski of the J Sports Podcast. Peace.